Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. Older women preying on teenage boys. Yeah, I had to say something, and I alluded to this one in my last video, but you know what, we really need to check this. We really need to check this, and people really need to say something. See, I'm gonna tell you what, on one level, because of the prevalence of older women, and I ain't talking like some women in their 20s, but women in their 30s and even 40s, knowingly having sex with some boy, and where it is, I mean, they haven't reached adulthood yet, who barely just got out of puberty. It's very prevalent. It's very prevalent. We don't really talk about it. And I thought about this after seeing a Maury episode last week. As an aside, Maury provides more material for anybody talking about relationships than anyone. So I think he's exploitive, but I don't know. Maybe I'll do a whole video on that. But you know, it was like an update show, and it was this woman who was in her 30s who had a baby with this guy who was under 18. And I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't surprised. That's been going on since whenever. That whole Mrs. Robinson thing, for the dudes who are older and know what reference I'm using. You know what? And I ain't gonna lie, I'm just gonna put it out there. It's something I experienced. So, you know, there's some I look at it, right? And this is why I know a lot of things about women and what they try to promote out here is some bullshit. You know, they'll say a guy gotta have money, they gotta have education and all of that stuff. Yet you have a epidemic of older women fucking some young boy. And like I said, I ain't gonna get into my own personal experience, but I mean, I've been seeing this since the 8th grade and stuff, right? Because we had a teacher, and it was this young guy. I don't know if they officially did anything, but let's just say they hung out a lot, right? And you got, you know, and I mean, it happens, and you know, we catching all these teachers and stuff, married teachers, dealing with like these young boys and stuff, and like attractive. It ain't even like, you know, you could halfway see if it's some busted old woman who can't get any man her age, but these be attractive women, and you know, and this goes across races. This goes across races. I've been like seeing this for a long time. Shoot, even when I hit my 20s, I was getting a lot of attention from women in their 40s and stuff. Got kidnapped by one. I'm like, yep, okay. She was fine though. But still, you know, you got this situation out here, and I don't hear women addressing it. Yeah, that's right, I said it. Because, you know, they can always jump on, well, two things. They jump on men about anything we do, or a man checking out younger models and anything. Rightfully so. Rightfully so. I can understand that. But strangely silent when they're doing it. And don't think for a second. And see, here's the thing. And this is part of why I emphasize about women choosing the men and the woman's sexual nature. You know? Because what does a 14-year-old have to offer an old-ass woman who probably got, you know, house, car, all this other stuff? Just one thing, dick. You know, and, you know, women come up here and be talking about, well, I need this man to protect and provide and shit. How the fuck some teenager who's probably sleeping in the same bunk bed he's had since he was 8 or something go and protect and provide for some of these women? Nah, it's all about that sex. It's all about that exploitation, and it's something we definitely need to call out. Because even though I'm talking about teenagers, a lot of these women, shit, you get quite a few of these women be going after guys a little bit younger. You know, women want to up here scream about these men who be molesting and, you know, molesting these young girls, these pre-puberty girls and all of that. Rightfully so. I'm right there with them. I think they should, hey, I'll be the one to pull the switch. I can say give them the death penalty. I'm right there with them. But these same women, they ain't talking about these women out here doing that. And it's funny too. I actually did a video on this before about the sexual exploitation of young boys. You know what? That was one of the videos that got demonetized. I'm like, wow. I had to get it remonetized. I was like, wait a minute. Hold up. This is a serious issue. See, we don't address it. And see, every time I see a story like that on TV or something like that, I think about my 14-year-old. Is he, you know what, like, people who like Facebook friends with me, they remember, there was a post a few weeks ago where I said, hey, to look up slightly at my son. So my 14-year-old is slightly tall, especially if he put on some shoes and shit. You know, he got some shoes make him slightly taller, right? And I be like peeping some older women be checking him out. You know, like the young girls, I'm like cool with, but it'd be like some older women, couple like reaching out to touch him, don't even know him. I'm like, bitch, get the fuck away from my son. And yeah, I said it like that. As I said in other videos, I'm vicious as shit with my own family. One was just like, hey, bitch, get the fuck away. You know, so, you know, it's, you know, it's a concern. And I see that a lot. I see that with a lot of women, but we're not talking about it. You know, we're not talking about it. We ain't thinking about, well, first of all, ain't that exploitive or, you know, some women taking advantage of it? And I've even had women tell me they were dealing with some young boys like that. Maybe not a teenager. I remember one woman, right? She telling me she was messing with some young boy and his mother had to step in. Like, I'm like, why you even telling me that? You know? But she was kind of, she had that aggressive sexuality like that. And get some horny old women up here. And see, that's part of the reason why a lot of stuff that women say publicly about what they want in a man, it's some bullshit. It's like I was speaking on earlier in this video. What the fuck does some 14-year-old got to offer a woman other than a stiff dick? And maybe she got some control issues or something. Well, what he got to offer? He can't take care of her. Well, how you gonna protect and provide for? Shit. And that, trust me, that happens a lot. These older women and these young guys be getting pressed about them. You know what I mean? Hell, even I tell you what, a show Power. Yeah, I know I love some Power, but a couple seasons ago, you had a couple, you know, fine older sisters. You know, both mothers and stuff mess with this young guy. Young guy in his 20s and shit, just getting out of college. Ready to fight over him halfway. Like, come on. You know, this shit happens a lot. You know what? My thing is this. Sometimes when these women deal with these young boys, and trust me, oh man, I got a lot of stories. I'm quite sure the people who follow this channel, they probably had some stories themselves or heard some stuff, you know, about neighbors and all of that. I mean, that was one of the games that my mother and grandmother told me, but especially my grandmother. I remember she was peeping any of the older single women in the neighborhood. She kept an eye out, and she let me know. She said, "Yeah, don't go around that woman's house," or you know, I had my little snow shoveling business. He said, "Look, whatever you do, don't go inside." So I've been peeping that a long time, and women know this shit. Be doing all this little fucking crazy shit and not thinking, like, it might seem cool to a dude. Like, I know some dudes, you know, they got a crush on some older woman or something like that, and it seemed cool, but really, depending on the dude, depending on the woman, it might fuck a dude's head up. It really would. You know, you got some horny old woman probably trying to do a whole bunch of other shit, and she probably, look, she probably ain't looking like no Angela Bassett. Let's be real, might be decent looking, you know, for somebody like closer to her age, but for some young boy, and you know, she doing all this crazy shit. And then I'm gonna tell you what, women complain about some of these players and some of these dogs. Hey, well, blame some of those older women. Because that's one thing I found talking with a lot of good bar types. They can point to an older woman. And they be saying, someone be saying it casually too. Say, yeah, this neighbor, she used to suck my dick. And do some stuff. And sometimes, like that Maury thing shows, sometimes they be having that child or something. And personally, I think some of these women out here be talking some shit knowing they doing some stuff. And yeah, this one of those things, like I said, Ron might have a story or two about that, but I'll keep that to myself. I myself didn't feel particularly traumatized, but you know, you just like the next dude might be, especially if it was like it kind of imprinted him or something, like it might have been his first woman or something. Oh yeah, that could like give him an idea or something. And especially, you know what, if for the ladies, like I said, don't complain about some no good dude. Because some woman probably made him that way. You know? Because like I said, what's a young boy got to offer an older woman? He ain't. And like, first of all, how he going to seduce her? Think about that for a second. How some little 14-year-old going to have some game or going to spit some rap or flash some money or something for some woman who's in her 40s? I want y'all to think about that. So it's like, nah. If that shit happened, she wanted to fuck that young boy. But then when that dude turned 30 and he just dogging women because that's how he's seeing them. Because there's been some occasion, you get some young boys, you got some older women doing some foul shit like passing them around. Oh yeah. Yeah, that feminism kicking in. Strong and independent. Viva la revolution. Yo. Yeah, and I just had to think about it. And, you know, it's a personal thing because, you know, I've seen older women talk about how cute my sons were and shit. I'm like, okay, you're not saying that in a cute matronly way, though. And like I said, I might have had to curse out some women. Because, well, vicious about the family. But, you know, it's something to think about. It's something to think about, you know. People listening, chop it up in the comments. Let me know. Let me know what y'all seen. All right? But y'all know what happened. And you know what? Usually I block stupid comments. But I want a woman to come in here and try to say something to justify this shit. Oh, hell. I'm pinning that comment because I'm going in on that one. So, anyway. That's it for today, y'all. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.